Board Commissioners meeting, and tonight we're having a special meeting, and on the agenda is one item of four, revenues, collections, financials, and budgets. And this was generated due to an email from the Treasurer's Department talking about a deficit in the Light Department of $432,822.97. So with that, Matt?
Good evening. How you doing? Matt Brown, General Manager, Raleigh Light. So yeah, the biggest reason for the difference there, or the deficit of the 432, from 2017 to 2018, the purchase power went from 4.9 million to 5.6 million, which was a difference of 633,000. That was an additional cost in 18 that wasn't forecasted or wasn't seen.
Okay.
And the end result of the 633 we ended up with a $29,000 net loss in 2018. So the biggest difference there was the 4.9 to the 5.6 for the purchase power.
Okay.
I do have a copy for each commissioner of the operating budget. Pass that down to Brian,
Sure.
please.
Brian, there you go.
This is also the income statement, and you can just see the difference. I just put an asterisk next to it, and down at the bottom, I just marked up where that $29,000 net loss was. So as far as revenues,
Right.
7.3 million for 2018. This was obviously before I got here. I started at the beginning of March. But what we went over for information was there was 22,000 approximately put in to depreciation every month for 2018, which totaled $264,000.
Okay.
And also on top of that, there was approximately $230,000 of fixed assets that were paid for by the Light Department. You know, no loans, no debt, no charge. That was paid for up front. So the accountant assures me that we are in good financial condition.
Okay. So how do we get out of this deficit?
Well, a couple changes that I want to make that I spoke with Katie last night. Katie is our accountant.
Okay. Katie Tilton.
Katie Tilton.
Yep.
She's from Triton Resource Group. She's been the accountant for how many years, Eric? 15 or 16 years, okay. She did inform me that this has happened in the past. She was not too concerned about it. But a couple things that I wanted to address and changes that I want to make is I want to do a cash flow statement each month,
Okay.
which is totally doable, and that'll help me keep an eye on everything that's in, out, and we'll know exactly what's going on. Read my notes here. That. And the other change I wanted to make is I wanted to have her provide us a budget to actual numbers, and we'll do that on a monthly basis as well. So these are two things that are pretty standard practice, I think, but from my understanding have not been done at the department. So I think it's just good accounting practice to have that information at your hand, and you can spot trends, and you'll be able to see something like this coming before it gets to that number.
Sure.
I think is the important thing. So two relatively minor changes. But will be very helpful to me and everybody, and will just going to help us keep an eye on everything a little bit closer.
When will we get this into alignment?
It shouldn't take. I can probably have this all done. Well, I'll look into it before I commit to anything.
Okay,
but it should
sure.
not take that long.
Okay. We have a meeting, a regular board meeting in a fortnight, 2 weeks from tonight.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay, so to report back at that particular time. Brian, you have any?
Excuse me.
Just to break it down again. So,
Sure.
Matt, you said looks like the biggest difference was a change in purchase power.
Absolutely.
So we're looking at the end of this as being 29.7.
Yes.
Okay. So that's where we currently are right now.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because I have this particular trends I've seen over the last year, and we also have it on the sheet here was
I'm sorry, excuse me?
pretty continuous, for most of last year, as far as the negative,
Yeah.
carrying negative balances.
Yeah, last year was definitely a tough year for a lot of light departments.
It's just not here.
No, it is not just here. There are,
The purchase power, it rippled through all the municipal lights, most of them.
yes, one local municipal was in the negative about $800,000.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not unique to just Raleigh Light Department, that's for sure. But that's why they've done what they've done, and they've saved money in different places and done the right thing over years, and kind of kept an eye on it and run a tight ship. And this is why. So when something like this does happen, if you don't catch it, there's a way to correct it.
Okay.
So that's good news for the department. But having said that, the cash flow statement for each month, and then the budget to actual for each month is going to spot this before it gets to that number.
And we'll be starting that
As soon as
next meeting.
possible.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I think that'll be valuable.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
Get better vision on, where we are, as you go.
Yeah,
on.
and then by keeping an eye on that too, you're going to know, all right, are we charging enough to cover all the expenses? So we should be able to find that out really, really quick. It looks, as I gave you, the operating budget. These numbers, when put together, obviously it wasn't put together by me, I wasn't here, but they are conservative numbers. We've cross-referenced these with other data that we have.
Okay.
And these numbers that you're looking at are conservative.
Okay.
So we're, when this was made up, they were playing it safe when they came up with these numbers.
Okay. We also spoke the other night of separating from the town and the light department going
With regards to the health insurance,
No, with regard to bank accounts.
bank accounts.
So you will need to, prior to June 1st, have enough money in your bank account to pay for your June expenses.
understood. Yep, and that was
So-
the conversation we had the other day as
Yep.
far as, you may see some, when I get into this a little bit more detail with Katie, you may see some more, emails as far as transfers of funds and that type of stuff.
Right, but I will tell you that your expenses for March were $623,000. I have no idea what your collections are. And that seems to be kind of consistent with what your expenses tend to run.
Yep.
After the transfer for stabilization, from your rate stabilization for the 450 that you were in the red, you have a balance of about 420.
Yep,
So that is not going to be a sufficient nest egg
yep.
unless you want to be spending your collections, in the month that you're paying them out, paying your expenses out.
Yep.
You follow what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that is something you guys are going to have to work on prior to June 1st.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, with this change, the bank account and also the health insurance.
They're two separate things.
Yep, no, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, in order for me to address this,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to, shuffle some funds around for sure.
But I'm just saying that you don't have that much in your rate stabilization to shuffle funds around, so I'm not sure exactly.
There's money in other places,
Okay, in your depreciation accounts?
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And will that put stress on municipal?
Well, it's not ideal.
Not ideal.
Is it gonna put stress on it? You could argue that was overfunded, for sure. For our size utility, absolutely. For our size municipal, the amount of money that is in there,
Okay.
you could make an argument that maybe it was overfunded a little bit
Is there
over the years.
is there a kind of a minimum required or a recommended percentage of what depreciation is
That
for
kind of
operating?
varies depending on who you ask, but
So
kind
I think we
of
need
kind
to
of go with like an industry standard. Is kind of always how I've operated.
Yeah.
No matter what we're doing.
I think we'll need to understand that too
Are
to
there
make sure.
statutes that limit how that money is used?
I believe there are. Yeah, would have to check with Katie on exactly what can be done and cannot be done. But we're gonna be okay.
Okay.
There is money there.
To offset this?
Yeah, Katie and I spent 2.5 hours last night going over a lot of different things, and naturally I had a lot of questions. I'm as concerned as anybody, and she assures me we are in good financial shape as a light department. I can't say too much about other municipal light plants,
Sure.
but again, this place has been well-run, well-funded, and is in good condition, good shape.
Okay, so, starting in 2 weeks, we'll have the financials will be coming monthly, for the monthly meetings. Also, the budget that we've been getting all along.
Yep.
And discussion of revenues. One other thing is collections. Where do we stand with collections right now?
Currently, we are owed approximately $80,000 in overdue accounts.
Okay,
And from, again, I'll tap on the resource that's been here longer than me, Eric. Apparently, this isn't totally out of the norm, this number. We're in that season, we're just coming out of winter, and people do fall behind on their bills, and there are rules and laws in place as far as when and when we cannot shut customers off.
those are all state DPU.
DPU requirements, the 220 CMR is like all the proof is in the pudding there on what we can and cannot do, excuse me.
As my understanding, as of the 1st of April, those restrictions come off from the state.
That is correct.
So collections can go forward at that point.
Correct.
What was in the audit, and not the 2017 audit? I know you knew that.
I did take a look at that, and actually, there's a line in there from Bill Frayer, who does the audits, and he says in there that we are in good financial shape in the 2017 audit. They will be starting the audit for 2018 in a couple weeks.
And what was in the receivables, customer receivables, that number that he posted in what was it, 300, was it 368? 368,000?
Couldn't tell you off the top.
That was off, because I brought Eric, do you remember I brought it up, collections back in probably March of last year, maybe?
Probably right around this time last year.
Yeah, and we started talking about it, and then we went into it, and that number fell dramatically to almost half, if I remember correctly. And so, but we're down to 80,000 in collections, so that will help offset the 432, which is now 450, correct,
Correct.
Madam Treasurer? Okay.
And that is, I'm working to move that money over from rate stabilization,
Okay,
right?
all right.
But I mean, where we're a municipality, the tools that we have, that accounts receivable, uncollectible balance should be close to nothing. You have statutory, you have the ability to shut people off, you have the ability to lien properties.
That's correct.
Yeah, so, I mean, you should be able to get that number down to almost nothing.
Yes, there's, again, I don't want to get into too many specifics
Yeah.
on television for the protection of people's,
Sure,
names,
sure.
addresses, and that type of stuff.
No.
But I agree with you, but there will be one in particular that's going to affect that, getting it down to zero. And it's a little bit more involved. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Certainly. But yeah, we have to wait until April as far as the shut-offs.
Oh,
With the
absolutely.
residentials. I mean, so there's really, even the previous manager, there's, other than keep track of it and come up with a game plan for when April comes around, there's nothing he can do in the wintertime as far as turning off customers. It's against the law. so.
Right, but I mean, April is Monday, so.
Yeah.
I
We're on it, I can tell you that for sure. We got our ducks in a row and we'll be out taking care of it.
going forward, your thoughts, Brian, about maybe having a moratorium on spending for at least the next 2 weeks until we take a look at everything, and then we go forward from there?
I could agree with that. I think we need to understand all of this and make sure we're not spending anything that we don't need to spend.
Okay. So I think that can have a motion for moratorium and spending for the Raleigh Municipal Light for the next 2 weeks, and then we will take it from there monthly.
I will second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so for now, for the next 2 weeks, and then we'll do it on a monthly basis, okay, until we get everything. Okay. All right. All right, I think we've covered everything. Anything else, Madam Treasurer?
Nope.
Okay. Anything else, Brian?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we've covered everything as far as where it resulted from and what we're gonna put in place to go
One-
forward.
Okay, I just thought one other thing. Eric, Matt, can you get we talked about this before, the audit for 217 up on the website and just, and get that up, so
Yep.
that can be seen, okay?
Yeah, we have
Just so
somebody
much-
that we
Full
want to take
transparency,
to the website.
so people know what's going on, and then when the 218 will be done, which is going on now, the audit is in the.
Start in a couple weeks.
It started in a couple of weeks, but the process will begin, and once that's up, and let's put that up also, okay? So everybody sees what's the light department's doing, okay, financially.
Absolutely.
Okay, with that, have a motion to adjourn.
Give a motion to adjourn?
Have a motion to adjourn, all those in favor?
Aye.
Seconded. Okay, good night, everybody.